Alright peeps, so Ori the Will of the Wisp. No, it's been out for a while. It got a lot of hype during E3, such trailers and all of that. And I mean, why wouldn't it? I mean, this game, Ori and the Blind Forest, freaking amazing, right? We all agree with that. It's amazing. It does have some problems, obviously. Every game has that. There's no game that is literally 10 out of 10 flawless. The rankings get really just thrown around there, kind of weird. Kind of people forget about what those actually mean. They use things like, hey, a 10 out of 10 means that it's a good game. No, 10 out of 10 means that it's literally flawless. There's nothing wrong with it, nothing bad, nothing to improve it with, nothing ever. Which, by the way, I mean, a 10 out of 10, I wouldn't say that that actually exists for anything. And it's also funny that people think that if anything is lower than a 10, that it automatically is garbage. And it's like, what the hell? 5 means that it's an okay game, it's a good game. It's in there. And above 5 means that it's good, and below 5 means, it's starting to get bad. So people don't know what rankings really are, but I feel like I can with confidence say that Ori the Will of the Wisp is a 2 out of 10. Due to how poorly thought out it was, poorly made it was, and how little of Ori it actually is. Take for example Blind Forest, obviously that's the only thing you could take it with, but Blind Forest was more of a story focused game, very linear platforming with some puzzles you had to go through and all of that, with some good music, good characters, some emotional moments and all of that. Really good. And then you take Will of the Wisp and yeah, they kind of try to make it a weird hybrid between linear and open world, which doesn't really work because it's just confusing and really frustrating because you feel like, oh, I can go over here, so probably there's something here. Then you go there and it's just a freaking wall that's blocking you because you don't have the right skills to proceed, and you're like, what the fuck was the point then? You just waste a shitload of time going over here, and then you have to run all the way back, and it's just like, oh, okay. Take for example the beginning of Blind Forest. When you first start off here, you can only go left. Try to go right, you have this thorn bush blocking you. But let's say this is Will of the Wisp. Let's say you start here. Where you're supposed to go is like, actually that doesn't make sense, but let's say here, because this makes more sense due to where you're gonna go. But let's say you start here. Where you're supposed to go is over here, right, and then down, and then kind of right down to the spider cave area. But what you can also do is go right and then up, which blocks you because there's nothing there. And you can go left, like really, really far to the left, until you get blocked by water and a little bit high edge that you can't jump over to. And it is pretty far. Like this, I would say that it's even further than this. And I don't understand why. It's super confusing because as soon as you start the game, you just get dropped down here, and it basically says you just go wherever, man. I'm gonna fuck if I care. And the first thing I did was to go left, which was a huge mistake, but I had no idea. In Blind Forest, you go left, that's correct. But when I started here, I can go both left and right, and I was like, let's just go left, let's check what it's out. Check out what's over there, and then nothing. Blocked. Then I had to run all the way back, and I decided to go up instead of down, which was also wrong, so I had to go back, and then I had to go down. And by the time I got down to this spider cave, I was bored. I was frustrated. I got tired from just walking around, getting disoriented by where to go, and I didn't want to play anymore. So I put it down. I waited like a couple of days until I picked it up again. And then I played it for like, what, 10 more minutes, and I just got bored, and it's just, such a mess. That game was such a mess. And it's just weird. So what they did was literally the opposite of Blind Forest, and that's why I really don't like it. I mean, literally, compare everything from this game to Will of the Wisp, and you'll see that it's like 90% of it is just the complete opposite. Dungeons to no dungeons, no bosses to, well, I guess, yeah, no bosses to bosses. Skill tree to no skill tree, level up to no level up. You have, well, all of those skills that is active at once you have them. To fuck you, you can only hold a certain ones for fuck all reason. Companion to no companion. You had story-based kind of like narrative or like a linear style map or design to half open, no story, linear thing. From a goal to half of a goal, I guess. What I mean with this is, in Orange Blind Forest, your goal was to restore the Nibel, the tree, to bring back life and light to this to the forest. And in Will of the Wisp, yours is to find, I think it's Koru or Horu, or not Horu because that's Mother. I forgot the name of the owl. Koru makes sense, but it feels like no, because that's a boss here. But Haku, Hoku, Horu, Hakoru, something like that. Doesn't matter. But the thing there is why it's a half is because once you do reunite with Owl, the game straight up kills him right away. Because otherwise the game would have been over. Your objective was to find him and get out of there. But when you do find him, the game developer was like, well, but we can't have them escape now because there's still some more to do. So they straight up murder him to give you a reason to stay and want to kill the owl as a revenge. Or something like that. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's so dumb. And you have other things, you know, the opinion based, I would say that the music in this game is way better than the other game. Like, Will of the Wisp didn't really have any good music, in my opinion. It's so weird. As I said, it's more preferences and all. The other differences are, you know, in this game, you don't really have a store where you buy skills and other things. And in Will of the Wisp, you do. Will of the Wisp is also more combat focused than Blind Forest because it was more puzzle, platforming, and story focused. And other things like that. Like, you just compare it, you'll see the, like, all of those insane comparisons, like how much they went out of their way to make Will of the Wisp so far from Orange Blind Forest, like how so opposite of it. It's just insane. Why would they do that? Why would you not want to try to copy but still elevate and make some adjustment and differences from your previous really successful and loved game? It's just beyond me. It's like you're making a puzzle game and then all of a sudden your sequel is going to be an action game. It's like, what the fuck? It's like this huge disconnect there. And that's basically what it is. This is more of a puzzle game in that way than what Will of the Wisp is, which is more a combat game. It's like, what the fuck? How do you make that big of a difference? Why would you? And for some reason people really like Will of the Wisp and I'm just baffled. It's like, how? Why are you praising it? It's so bad in basically every way because no matter what you do, you don't feel like you're actually doing something or completing anything, or it's just the areas are kind of boring. The villain is just shit. They tried to give him a really sad background. They tried to top it or craft like Korra's background, but they failed because they were trying way too hard to make it sad. Basically, he was just born with like some birth defects, and for some reason all the owls started hating him, and he just went and killed literally everything he saw. But yeah, fucking sad background story, isn't it? Where here, Kuro's freaking kids die because I don't know why exactly. It's never really explained, I think. But the light from the bell when he's looking for Ori just for some reason killed Kuro's kids. But the difference is there is that Koro is just trying to get a revenge, kill off the ones who killed, you know, her babies, whilst the bird in Wolf the Wisp is literally killing everything instead of just getting a revenge on the people who bullied him. Like, what the fuck? Seems like he's just so dumb. It makes no sense. And then at the end, when you're about to kill him, he's like, "Oh, please don't. You didn't meet that. You know, I'm just scared, bullied. You know, I got bullied. You know, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake." It doesn't work. It really doesn't work. So yeah, also the bad part with Will of the Wisp is the ending. Like, the ending is terrible, absolutely terrible, and there's for one reason. They killed off the franchise right there. Well, before it even become an actual franchise, they used like, you know what the best ending would be to this game? Just kill off everyone in the freaking game. That's literally what they did. They turned Ori into one of these big trees, not ancestral. What is a spirit tree? And then they have a time lapse where all of your freaking friends just die from old age. What the fuck is that? The fuck was the point? No, it was really, really bad. I don't understand what they were going for there. Like, at all. It's really, really dumb. Also, the characters you meet is just really boring, dumb. They tried to make some funny, I guess, but it didn't work. Most of them are just like quest givers for some reason. I don't know why this game needed quests. It's like, why the fuck does this need quests when... Is it to kind of compensate for the lack of a story and actual, you know, direction and objectives that, you know, Blind Force has? Obviously, there's one right here which is telling me to go to Ginsu Tree. It's just like, what the fuck? Speaking of Ginsu Tree, they tried to make one with their freaking windmill tree thingy, which you have to go to as just your first one, but it was so boring. It was so shit. Basically, you just spawn some cogwheels in there, or like water wheels in the tree, just like that, and it's like, okay, it's done. Like, really? That's the best you can come up with? Spin some wheels instead of a tree? It's dumb. It's really dumb. Here you have to work your way up a tree, different levels, like climbing the inside, fight up some enemies, even some mini boss, and then do like some sort of puzzle where it like removes some of these corruption to, well, expose and cleanse the heart of the tree, and then you have to escape it, but, you know, climb up. Really cool. But there's like, spin some water wheels, and then have a half-assed, half-baked escape scene or so. I think it had that. I don't remember because it's been a year since I played it. It wasn't very good at all. So all you hear about it is that it's an amazing game. It's a really good game, almost a perfect sequel, all of that, but it's really, really not. And the only way it could have been is if it was for the people who said that it didn't really like Blind Forest because it was more of a platformer game and they like more of an action game. Which, by the way, the combat in that sucked. It had this weird spirit stick or whatever, kind of sucked. And the fact that you can only hold 3 items or like 3 skills at a time, eventually 4 if you bought the upgrade, just did not help. So yeah, but It's completely the opposite. So, yeah. But anyways, that's kind of all I had to say about it. Hope you enjoyed and thanks so much for watching.